Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Bugbear's Basement. Now, I do apologize; I played the wrong intro. I'll play the other one soon. But my name is Chester C. Busby III, and I welcome you guys here today. And hopefully, we'll have some very interesting things to talk about today. So just keep in mind, we have all our links down below. And if you want to get in contact with me on Twitter or Facebook, we also have our podcast and our donations button there. But we also have, more importantly, I'd say, is our fan speak on Facebook. So definitely go over there and join that and be part of that. And I see we have a few people in here. So one of the things that's very important to us, of course, is hitting that like button and subscribing. We do appreciate that. But the thing that helps us the most actually is hit that share button and send it out to everybody. Kat is in here. She says, "Hi guys, hi." John is in here and he says, "First." I'm sorry, John, you weren't first, but that's okay. We're still happy to have you here. But yeah, I'm joined by a very large panel today, and we have Pixel Trader on here as well today. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. It's good to be here.
Oh, excellent. And then we're going to be talking about Tokyo Ghost today, man. What do you think about that?
Tokyo Ghost is a fantastic book. The artwork, I think, is one of the better books I've seen in the last couple of years. Sean Gordon Murphy never seems to fail when he puts together a book. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's the first time I ever checked it out. I read the whole thing yesterday, and wow. Yeah, wow is the word that comes to my mind. But let's we have a full board in here, so let's jump over everybody real quick. We have the chairman of the board himself, DeWolf. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm sticking with stuck in malaise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, at work. But I left work and I knew that I was going to be able to, come and spend some time with my Fanspeak friends. And on top of that, Pixel's here. That makes it even better.
It does. Yeah, it's always nice when we have Pixel come on. Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. Of course, we're also joined by our artist Ignition of Ignition himself, Todd. How you doing today, Todd?
Ooh.
The other Todd.
I'm doing really great. I'm looking forward to reviewing this book. Big fan of Sean Gordon Murphy's work. It took a little while to grow on me. I don't know if you remember some of the early stuff, like American Vampire, and he did some Hellblazer, and his noses were a little weird, but eventually he got past that, and you really saw this artist for what he's worth, and he is really, really great at bringing you into his environments.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said there, except for the first stuff, because that's the first time I've ever seen this guy. And I know, I apologize. You guys can yell at me as you like. But all right, of course, we are also joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Booster Boy.
Oh, thanks, guys. I'm so proud to be here today. It's me, Booster.
It is. And what are you eating this morning? What are you having to munch
today
upon?
It's a bacon and egg pie today, Chester.
A bacon and egg pie? Pie?
Yeah, pie with bacon and egg.
I don't know what I'm going to do with you, Booster. There's supposed to be apple, cinnamon, spice in there.
No, that's yuck.
And of course, we also have the Denali Llama. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to talk about Tokyo Ghost from Sean Gordon Murphy. He also has done the Batman Scarecrow Year One and some of the Teen Titans as well. And I think Punk Rock Jesus is one of his other ones, if I recall correctly.
Wow. See, all the information in here. You guys are real lucky.
Yeah. And then everybody knows the White Knight, Batman the White Knight, which is his current
Knight.
Yeah. The White Knight. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome show. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of news to talk about and a lot of things coming up. So very exciting.
Yes, and we're going to give a bunch of news at the end of the show, but I think there's probably a couple of announcements we'd probably like to lead off with as well, Denali. Why don't you go ahead and cover those?
All right, so tomorrow We're going to have the Pro Edition on John's Manley's channel at 10 p.m. Eastern. So there's not going to be any snafu like last week. We're going to have Gojira this Saturday. Gojira. We're going to be watching we're going to be watching the Japanese version of the original Gojira movie, and we're going to do a live commentary. So join us for that. We're trying to make some arrangements, and hopefully, if it works, we'll let you know about that upcoming. And we also had decided for the next week's topic for Bugbear, we're going to be reading issue 1 of West Coast Avengers from the 80s, but we're also going to be reading West Coast Avenger issue 1 from the current run and compare and contrast to see how much has been changed in the 20-30 years since this title's been going.
See, this is how much we love you. We suffer for you.
Yes. So expect wacky voices for those 2 issues.
Absolutely. All right, good. And actually, the thing with Gojira, by the way, this weekend is, like you said, we have an announcement. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that really soon. But if we can get it to work the way we want it to, it's going to be really cool, guys. I think you're going to really have a fun time joining us when we do that. So we'll get to that tomorrow. We will announce exactly what's going on with that tomorrow for sure. We just have to make sure we have to get Booster moving along. You know, he's a little slow in the foot, he being a hobbit and all. But we will announce that. So, well, let's go ahead and let's jump right into our news. Now,
hey, wait a minute. Is this about me being a slow boy?
Oh no, nothing. Just nothing behind the curtain, sir.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was a Wizard of Oz joke, Booster. You're too young to know what that is, I think.
Yeah, I got that reference.
Oh, did you? Oh, sweet, guys. See, he's coming along.
Okay, did you get
and I got that reference as well.
Yeah, there we go. We're going deep in this one.
Yeah, deep.
Jeez,
okay.
That's layered. That's a layered joke.
Flying monkeys.
Yeah.
Flying monkeys. Yeah. All right, guys. Here is our first little article, and it's funny to me because I just laughing when I read it, but I do love that Batman sitting in the middle. Go ahead, Danelli, introduce.
Why the Oscar host has become the least wanted job in Hollywood.
So, DeWolf, answer the question for these people. Hollywood Reporter wants to know. I'm sure you have the answer, right? No.
Yeah, because you get up there and you're standing in front of everyone that has an opinion and an agenda, and they're not there just wanting to enjoy a good show and encourage each other's work.
Yep. That answers first part of it. The second part of it is Billy Crystal did it, and kind of like no one can match it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, there's that.
There is that. But no,
I went too deep. Sorry.
No, you went correct because the Oscars is a absolute ghost of itself. It is nothing like it used to be. It's always been, of course, political. I mean, they pay to get into the thing, so it's not like it's this is really has never been political. It always has been, but these days it is this progressive identity politics to the absolute max, and it's just useless. Matter of fact, I see far more shows that YouTube channels in particular that will watch the Oscars in jest than I do ones covering it seriously. That's how much of a joke the Oscars has become. And of course, no one wants the job because they're going to get laughed at. They got to get have a banner put across the top of their head saying "You are this." That's why no one wants to be part of it. And of course, the Billy Crystal thing because Billy's awesome. He really was really good at that. But back when he did it, what did you have? You had a fun, entertaining show that was just celebrating Hollywood and movies, right? That's what it was. But now it isn't. It's about teaching all of these ignorant people how stupid they are and how they have to arrange their lives different because they're a bunch of Nazi misogynists. That's exactly what the Oscars have become, and it's sad, sad, sad. Anybody else have a comment on the nonsense that is the Oscars? Do you know what the Oscars are, Booster?
Yeah, of course I know what the Oscars are. Just I watched the 2014 one, and I sobbed when Matthew McConaughey got Best Actor for Dallas Buyers Club. All right,
Okay.
all right, because that was amazing. You know, the little piano theme was playing as he was like sobbing while he was going up to me. He's thanking God. I love that stuff. But no, seriously, I'd rather watch Golden Globes being hosted as long as it's Ricky Gervais. That's all I care. That's all I care about, man.
True. Ricky Gervais is awesome, dude. I love what he does.
And he just takes the absolute piss out of them.
He does. He lays into him so hard. And Dave suggests that Ezra Miller would be a good host for the Oscars. You know what? He would be perfect.
Yes, please, Ezra Miller for the Oscar host.
He would be fabulous.
Fabulous.
And the Oscar goes to me. It's the Flash.
No, I mean, actually, if Ezra was on good form, he probably would be a fun host, actually, because, like I said, he is kind of the modern Martin Short in the way he acts. He could be quite funny if he get his head out of his. Well, anyway.
I think I've gone into so many layers of irony disliking him that I absolutely just love him now.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It's weird in a way. You kind of do.
Statues, right?
Ezra Miller will come in a golden suit and paint.
Oh, you know.
Look at me. I'm the Oscar. Take me home.
That's lovely.
Oh, God.
And the Oscar goes to Brad Pitt. You can take me home.
Yeah, Bill says that Ezra would be the Oscars golden boy. Yeah, a golden something. But the Oscars has become an absolute joke, man. It's just a pure joke. I mean, I couldn't believe it that one year they were upset because there was no black people nominated, and then the next year it was like lots and lots of black people nominated. You know what? You get nominated if you do a good movie. And you paid or had enough friends with enough money that paid to get you the win. That's what it really comes down to with the Oscars, to be honest. But it was such a silly thing. It's like, wow, we've never seen a black person win an Oscar before. What are you people talking about?
No. Last year was the first time it ever had happened.
Yeah, forever, ever. Yeah, Sidney Poitier.
And of course,
that
when Black Panther wins it.
Yeah, well, and how much of a joke would that be, right? Because that movie is a 5, maybe a 6 if you're really, really pushing it. And there's nothing in there Oscar worthy at all, especially not CG or any of that kind of stuff or the story writing.
Oh no, that's CG. That fight at the end that looked like 2 little rubber men fighting is silly.
Yeah.
It wins by diversity alone. The first time,
I thought it was a good movie, but I don't think it was nearly. It
was a good popcorn movie. Yeah, sure, but it's not an Oscar movie. Come on. Yeah. But anyway, moving on. This right here, this one I don't know much about, but it looked interesting because it kind of seems boring, and those things are usually interesting. Denali.
Yeah. Latest layoff confirmation, a big loss for Lion Forge, says Box Brown. And basically it's, talking about the previews, we did talk about Lion Forge the other day, and basically they're one of the smaller publishers, and if you scroll down a little bit, this is one of the people saying they changed. These are some of the issues, or no, show the comics, please.
Okay, are you sure that person wasn't fired because they had their pronouns in their bio?
Maybe.
They were laid off. Booster. The optimal word, laid off.
I don't know any of these books. None of these books I know. Not one.
Exactly. But you kind of look at them and you can kind of tell exactly what sort of books they are.
Well, they're young readers, which is fine.
Yeah. But they're also, you can tell what kind of books they are just by the cover alone. There's no subtlety. Normally you would say don't judge a book by its cover, but in this case you can kind of figure out where they're going with this.
Ooh, Saved by the Bell.
I know, I saw that, dude. I was like, freshman year.
Oh, yeah. But Madballs is in there. That's kind of an interesting mix out of all the other ones. It's kind of surprised to see that. That's up there with the Garbage Pail Kids and that kind of tier of.
Oh, really?
That's stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I want to read the Crystal Cadets. I mean, that one really, really is calling to me.
Are you sure not the wrap up?
No,
they're
no,
always
no.
wrapped up
Crystal
in something.
Cadets, because I want to be a little teenage 12-year-old girl. That's what I want to be. Mhm.
Funny, does it? It looks kind of like they use Shira.
Oh,
New Shira
goodness.
animation.
The Shira debacle. Yeah, I don't know. This just looks like young readers' typical, progressive stuff.
Yeah,
But hey,
absolutely.
they're having trouble and they're laying people off. It's too bad.
Which we've been talking about, with the industry.
Yeah, get woke, go broke, right? I mean, it's too bad. I mean, because
Yep.
if you have an
Oh my
idea
God, go back
and you
down.
want to push it and people want to buy it, awesome, right? But if you're not selling your stuff, maybe you should, make a course correction, but they're not going to. Ooh, this one looks like a lesbian one.
Just go down, go down, go down.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Stop. No, down one more. The one to the right. Oh my gosh.
Trust women.
Oh, okay.
Russian comic.
See, always trust the booster to find it. Okay, here we go. Yo decido, whatever that means. Dykes
Yo,
and
Decide.
Bodley's autonomy. Okay, with Bodley, Dykes for bodily autonomy. Is that what it's supposed
Trust
to
women.
be?
Look at
women.
the diversity.
Oh my goodness.
Protect choice. Free, safe, legal. Okay, what are they talking about abortion here? Never again with the hanger. Look at the hanger. Look at the hanger, dude. Never again. Never again. Her body, her choice. My body, my choice. That's funny.
I love it.
So I finally came up with an analogy about the new comics movement that's happening right now that we keep talking about. And does anyone remember New Coke?
I do. I do remember New
You
Coke.
know what happened to New Coke?
It bombed like
It
nobody's
fizzled out, pun intended.
Yeah.
And what did we end up with was Classic Coke. So hopefully in a few more months, we will have classic comics.
Oh, well, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
but
we got.
I don't want to get off on a tangent. I'm not going to get on a tangent, but I always find it funny when I see this my body, my choice, her body, her choice. It's like you do realize there's another body involved in the conversation, right? I always thought that was funny.
I love the dude with the her body, her choice t-shirt though.
Yeah,
that is amazing. I'm sure he was dragged into this so fucking willing. Oh, if oh my gosh.
No, he got the smirk. He got the whole thing. All he's missing is the glasses.
Ding, ding, Booster.
Sorry, Chester. I'm just too excited about this comic.
Yeah.
But we don't even know what it is because the top of it is covered.
I know, huh? Dave here says that Lionforge had hired Gail Simone a few months ago. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yep, that's true. That's
Booster
true.
Stein's happy. He is happy, Cat. We're all happy. We're having a great time. We're talking about get woke, go broke, idiots.
I'm just so happy that this exists.
Yeah.
There you go, Booster. There's your homework. Go find it. Read
There
it.
you go.
Tell us about it.
You think I won't? You think I won't? And look at this, a little go to therapy. This thing. Maybe they should take their own advice.
Argos Creation says it turned into Coke's biggest windfall when Classic came back. Yep, that is true. On the back end, didn't it? Chainmail bikini. Now that is not a chainmail bikini. God, that's false advertising. But I thought this was funny. They wanted me to go past this. I'm going to come back here. It says Ignazi winning cartoonist and anthology editor, paragon of self-acceptance, drawing no Ivy League editor, Lionforge, opinions my own, whatever this symbol means, they, them. Oh, you're just a wonderful human, aren't you, Hazel? Aren't you, Hazel Newlevent? You are a paragon of self-acceptance.
A paragon of self-acceptance.
I accept myself.
I love that. I'm putting that in my Twitter bio right now.
Yeah, they're now the publisher at Comics for Choice.
Oh my goodness. Well, good for them. Good for them. I wish them all the success because you know what? I'm a paragon of self-acceptance too. Well, I mean, right? I mean, I know who I am. I accept myself.
Yes.
So silly.
I am also I am the most humble person that I know though. So
Here it is. I added it to my Twitter bio. It's there now.
All right. Since we haven't had enough of these kind of nonsense things, but they're always fun to laugh at, though. These guys,
Right.
they take life too seriously. I mean, relax. I mean, life's not that hard, really. We have some bumps along the way, and some bad things happen, but you get through it. One of the things I found is if you stand up and put your feet on the ground every day when you get out of bed and take a step forward, you know what? The day goes on.
Hmm.
It's not that hard, guys. I mean, come on. Anyway, moving on to another favorite, Kelly Sue DeCormick on her top 5 Aquaman incarnations. Well, this is going to be interesting. I think this is going to be. We need to know what's going on here, Denali. Please help us.
So basically, she's being interviewed because, as everybody knows and been following us, she's going to be writing Aquaman starting issue 43. And he's not going to be anywhere near the water. He's going to be in a desert and stuff. So basically, she's talking about all the popular Aquaman versions that's been out through the times, which is Jeff John, Peter David, the original Aquaman, the Jason Momoa version. She said, I'm going to combine all of those Aquamans and make you hate them because
Sweet.
I'm Kelly Sue DeCormick. And that's basically the whole article.
Oh yeah, and she's a feisty, angry one too. Pixel Trader says that's the transgender symbol. In case anyone was curious, well, I would think by now, Pixel, you'd be kind of caught up on my feigned ignorance of things. But Booster, Jeff Johns, this was an inspiration for her. An inspiration he was. The New 52 run. So why don't you go ahead and read this in your best Kelly Sue DeCormick? I mean, I want to feel the DeCormick, Booster. Yes.
Okay, all right. I gotta inhale 50 cc's of c words. All right. Okay. I spent a lot of time with everything from the New 52 forward. I love Johns' run. Johns had Arthur kill Black Manta's father. There is a lot of guilt there. Guilt is a great engine. I don't know where this voice is going. I can't really connect that to his powers, though.
Bing.
So, well, what else have we got? What do you mean, ding?
No, I'm just pointing out this is another artist that can't connect to the character.
Okay.
Oh,
You ding me. There's this moment where John revisits his origins and sees his mother was an Atlantean royal and his father was a lighthouse keeper. She leaves to return to her duties, and his father takes him to the water on occasion to look to see if his mother will return. That is a hole. This is a foundational pain. Now, can I connect that to his gift? Yes. He can speak to any creature in the ocean, except his mom. That's how we start to understand the character. A young man who has been abandoned by his mother. What character does that produce? Well, often they'll produce somebody who's overachiever because they want to prove to missing parents, I was worth it. You shouldn't have left me. You made the wrong call because of what you missed out on. Okay,
That was pretty good, Booster. That was pretty good. I'm a little terrified, but that's not bad. Not bad.
That's how I imagine Kelly DeConnick just talks. She has like a little list and then just like suddenly starts growling every time she's.
Well, she kind of does actually. I've heard her speak. She does kind of do like that.
Men.
Derek Tyler says, who did the Aquaman title that led into Infinite Crisis? Was that Rick Veitch?
I believe so,
Yeah,
because he was the one who was heading up on the Infinite Earth storyline at that time. So I do believe it was him.
Okay. There you go. Peter David's 90s run of Aquaman. This is the one where they took his hand off. I'll read this one. Let's see if I can do this one. Okay. Let's see. This is her still speaking, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Peter David run was great for Aquaman. The traditional approach has always been that best because he's half Atlantean and half human. He's not at home in either place. I think that works very effectively, don't you? In Atlantis, when bringing him up to the land, it's different. He is handsome. He is a king. He is the Justice League. He is literally bulletproof. What do you think? What do you think? How was that? Was that okay?
Wow.
Was it painful? A little bit?
It was beautiful, Chester.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
brought it to my eye.
So what I read there is like, he's handsome, so I'm going to make him ugly. He's bulletproof, so I'm going to make him bleed.
Yeah, no, of course
Wow.
that's what she's going to do. You're right. And the article just keeps going on and on and on. But we've seen this lady speak before. She is pure toxicity. It's almost as if the definition of it. She is full of hate, and she can't help herself. And this
Right.
is going to be an absolute disaster. I mean, we joke a little bit. Well, we joke a lot about Gail Simone, for instance, and her nonsense and her lies and the things she does. But to be fair, she can write pretty well sometimes. I mean, Gail Simone has skill, right? This lady right here, I have never seen anything she's written that has any skill at all. It's just pure politic nonsense. It's not good, So I mean, credit where credit is due, right?
Right. And the name of the arc that she's going to be writing is called The Unspoken Water, which he says is from a Scottish term meaning cure. She's going to cure Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman has always been kind of fairly confident and knew who he was. That's not his issue. So you're creating a different character to repair. But that's what they do that a lot. And Jimmy Ortiz says, finally, we get the real Chester voice. Yes, you do. I have been hiding for a long time, and I shall not hide anymore. Anybody else here want to make a comment on Kelly Sue DeCormick and the absolute abomination that she's going to turn Aquaman into? Anybody?
I try to sum it up, and I've been writing down my feelings about it, but I just keep writing the C word over and over again. That's all I've got.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to be suffering because I am going to be reading this run and reviewing it and telling you guys about it, so you don't have to.
Thank you very much, Denali.
Would that be?
Yeah, go ahead.
Would that be crustacean? So I'm looking for
Crustacean, yeah.
the positive spin.
Okay.
And she's looking into Aquaman more than I think any of the rest of us have maybe before. And so she's actually going to be working out some of the other character details that have been there that haven't been touched on before. This concept that he has this mother issue. He can talk to every animal except his mom. That is a very interesting concept that hasn't been addressed before. So maybe it's possible that she gets into a deeper form of character that involves a lot of a plot and development, and we get a real good story from it.
Well,
yeah,
there's a lot of spoilers.
Yeah, DeWolf.
There's a lot of spoilers to answer
DeWolf.
those questions.
DeWolf.
Yeah.
Go take a shower.
Yeah.
Get out of here! You're banned for wrong thing. I'm just kidding.
You never know, right? I mean, she could actually hit on something. You never know.
Benefit of the doubt.
Well,
for benefit of the doubt. Bless her heart. Bless all their hearts.
Well, here's the counter to your argument. The Wolf. He lost his memory from the events of the crossover. He lost his powers from the event of the crossover. He's a person who doesn't know himself literally. He's a blank character. That's what they gave her to start working out with.
Sweet. Yeah, and all we can do is just kind of wait and read it. Yeah, and it's fair, DeWolf. I tend to agree with you.
Instead of him being Aquaman, we're basically getting an NPC.
Oh, yes, I'd say so. Derek Tyler does say past tense. She had skill. Wade, like Wade, she's gone downhill, unfortunately. It seems that way, doesn't it? Because Mark Wade certainly has
What do you
written some
mean
good things.
downhill? You're assuming they're on top of a hill in the first place.
Well, no, come on, Booster. To be fair, Gail Simone has written some good stuff, dude.
Gail Simone. Okay, I'll give you Gail.
Yeah,
I'll give you Gail Simone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
honestly, I've seen myself. One of my favorite series ever made was Secret 6 by her.
Secret Six, yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. We should do that one day. We should talk about that. Argos
We
Creation
should.
says the
Rip
only
apart my
insecure.
favorite stories again.
Oh, there you go. The only insecure Aquaman I remember was from JLA Year One by Wade and Kitson. See, I haven't even read that because I've never seen an insecure Aquaman. That's kind of his security and knowing who he is and his confidence is a major aspect of his character. So I don't really know what they're talking about. Paul Hadza says, Denali, thank you for your service. He's feeling your pain for having to read all this nonsense.
Well, thank you, sir. We do it out of passions, and one person should take the bullet,
Protecting the country.
not everybody. But yeah, the Dan Abernett run, which is from issue 1 through 40. Yeah, issue 1 through 40 has been a phenomenal run and been very successful. So I do recommend reading the rebirth of Aquaman and the New 52 Aquaman by Jeff John. They have been actually particularly good issues. There's some things you're like, well, yeah, but overall they've been very good.
Oh, sweet. Now we're going to transition into something a little different here. And what we're going to do is we are going to show you, and we're going to watch together.
But first, Chester, I feel we should address the Pope in the room.
Pope.
Pope on okay. Okay, Pope. How you doing, Pope Fire? What are you doing out there? You should be in here.
I am in here.
You saw the hunky document. Came in.
Okay. I'm doing other stuff. I can't watch all. You guys have to inform me. Well, how you doing, Pope? What's going on? Hello. She came
She's
and
shy
went.
now.
Now she's shy.
No,
It's okay.
she's still here.
Oh, did I? Oh, I'm sorry. I was been talking all this time. I heard you guys were talking about Aquaman. Were you guys talking about the movie?
Nope. We were talking
No.
about the Kelly Sue DeCormick series that's going to come up and hurt our brain.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
But
the
would you
movie
like
has-
to say something about the movie?
Yeah, apparently it's coming out the same time as Captain Marvel, correct?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Yeah, we're gonna
Well,
see.
somebody
Which
told
one
me.
we'd rather see, huh?
Well, apparently they said somebody told me that Aquaman was a woman's movie, like meant for women or something. And they also said Captain Marvel was the movie meant for women. And I'm sorry, but I would much rather see Aquaman. Like Captain Marvel looks disgusting.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. You could say that Aquaman is a real ladies' flick.
Oh
Well-
yes, with all those rippling abs and water and.
Well, yeah. Well, that's why they have the sexy dude. It's for the
Lick.
ladies, right? Yeah, lick.
My jokes
What?
are too clever.
No, Booster. No licking. Stop it. All right.
I
But,
said flick. Oh,
But Pope, speaking of that, we are actually going to sit here and watch the new trailer for Captain Marvel. Would you like to join us? Here we
Why do
go.
you hurt me?
Be-
Why do you do this?
because
is awesome.
It's educational. All right, guys, we're gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and watch this. Just tell me if the volume's too loud. I'll adjust it if I have to. But we're gonna watch this, and yeah.
Mhm.
Hold on.
Live reaction from Fanspeak.
So, Skrulls are the bad guys.
Oh, we know this. See,
okay. Can we pause for a second?
We can.
Okay. I love that they added this. It feels like that they had to address the fact that in the first trailer, Captain Marvel just punched the crap out of this sweet old looking, lovely looking old lady, right? And I feel like
good
they
point.
added this just to address that. Like, no, the old lady was evil. Can't you tell?
Well,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
They do a lot of that in this trailer. There's a lot
Yeah.
of that. Yeah. But
She
no,
went total Yoda there. Like
did.
straight up flips it over.
Yeah. But yes, it's a Skrull. We knew it was a Skrull. Okay.
The guy in the back is good.
And
Yeah.
you're a Kree, a race of noble warriors.
Okay, boom.
I like that.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I do apologize. It's going to be a long time getting through this 2-minute trailer. But she is a Kree, a race of noble warriors. Let's see her response. Let's see. Because her face is
A
still
hero.
expressionless. Let me see.
Noble warrior heroes.
Noble heroes, noble warrior heroes. And she smiled. Oh my God! I just got blown back. Go ahead, Ken. Pope. What do you want to say?
Have you ever noticed that her butt looks like Wendy's patties?
I try
had
not to
those.
respond about women's butts because my wife doesn't listen to these things occasionally.
Oh,
I
sorry.
would just love I would really love to just the fact that she felt the need to call herself a hero, instead of someone else doing it. Would Superman ever call himself a hero? No, he would say, "I'm just a small town boy just trying to do the right thing." What about Spider-Man? No, I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. They never call themselves heroes. It's for other people to decide.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Right.
Okay. I'm enjoying this. Let me enjoy it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Let's move on.
Booster.
Your life began the day it
The only
nearly
good
ended.
part of this trailer.
We found you
Does she have blue
with
blood?
no memory. We made
Yeah, it should
you
be purple.
one of us, so you could live longer,
There you go.
stronger,
Oh, it's mostly
superior.
blue effects. I like that.
You.
You were reborn.
Excuse me.
So, in the pop figures that they released for this,
Yeah.
you guys are gonna love this. They added her cat.
Sweet.
Look at this.
Who's
Look
that
at the
lady?
This
I
is
like
the
the look of her.
this is the next Captain Marvel, the
That's the next
daughter.
Captain Marvel, yes.
I
She
bet
looks
it
a
will
lot
be.
better. Let's have
Um,
this one.
Yeah, no, Bill, Argo's creation, he says green blood. Yeah, what they're doing is they've changed it completely. What's going to happen with this, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to spoil the movie before it's even out. Somehow or another, because she's a pilot, she gets on some project and she gets lost and she gets found by the Kree and they're like, "Oh, we're going to make you one of us for no good damn reason at all," and they're going to pump her full of their blood, which makes her superpower. Which also means that all Kree are exactly as powerful as she is, the ones that are a part of that project anyway, which is going to totally power down her, so they can have enemies to fight her. And she's going to get her memories back, and she's going to remember she's from Earth, and that she was a girl who always stood up and fought for the right. That's what they're going to do. That's the story. Boom, done.
I'm not sure if you guys noticed it, but she was smiling in that cockpit, and on either side of her face were these beautiful dimples. And I just think she's so awesome when she smiles.
Get out of here, dude.
I think she looks something like a wrinkled prune, but that's just my take on it.
Yeah, well, hey,
She
you know.
looks like a.
I think she's the only person in the world that can smile and express nothing. It's incredible.
You
I mean,
know,
what about Kristen Stewart?
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
photon, I like the photon.
Yeah,
Rambo.
Maria
I mean,
Photon
they-
Rambo.
I wonder if they're gonna do the Carol Danvers coma thing and just have her as move her as the new Captain Marvel, the long game kind of deal.
No.
Nope. We know that they're following the Kelly Sue McCormick story. They told us this. They were very clear.
Yeah. But I'm saying for if there's another Captain, it hurts Marvel movie.
Well, we do have one. They're calling it Shazam. Pixel Trader says she
My
lives in a spaceship owned by the Kree. Oh, sorry. She lives in a spaceship owned by the Kree. Captain Squarepants, emotionally and
No.
smarmy.
You're all right.
She
You're
looks
all
like he. I'm sorry. I was trying to help Pixel.
Oh, she lives in a spaceship owned by the Kree.
Captain SquarePants!
Emotionless and swarmy. She looks like a he.
Captain SquarePants!
There we go.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on.
Yeah.
In my past is the key to all of this.
Oh God,
You
this
know how to
looks
fly
so
this thing?
We'll see.
boring.
That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
No chemistry.
Oh, she's sassy.
Well, she has. She's got jokes, boys.
This is one of the worst things I hate about the new way they're performing entertainment.
I think I have
We
a
have
life
to
here.
demean people that are already
What are you
strong
telling me?
in order to make these new female characters.
Oh, dude, watch what they
Here.
do here in a second. You're perfectly right.
As
Watch.
strong as you think. This war.
With a hero.
I'm not gonna fight your war.
didn't deserve the scroll.
I'm gonna
She's not a
end it.
hero. She's a her-o.
Yeah.
Okay, that was horrible. Oh god, that was horrible. That helmet is killing me. Anyway, sorry. Moving on.
Oh, I thought this was a family show.
Watch this.
Cheerios.
little thing. Aren't you cute? And what's your name, huh?
Fury.
What's cute? I'll be back.
Now, look, exactly what you just said, dude, right? Fury, the most awesome, cool Fury who we all love. They demeaned him. They put him on the ground, playing with a cat, not paying attention, not being serious, not doing his job, which is something Fury would never do. And she is the serious one. She's the one who's going to keep him on track because she is the hero.
Oh
right?
no!
That's
Oh
exactly
no!
what they just did.
Don't tell me he loses his eye because the cat scratches it out.
Yeah, scratched it. Yeah.
But dude,
No,
did you
I can
see
tell you
that
what they're
coming,
going to do. She is
it's-
going to be the first Avenger.
Is it just a Marvel trailer
Oh.
thing or just a trailer thing now? Like that they have all the big epic music and then the title screen, and then all the music cuts off. It's like, ooh, it's a silly joke at the end of the trailer. Ooh. This was so predictable. It wasn't even a good joke. It's like, oh, Nick Fury likes a cat.
Yeah, but it
I think
actually
it
goes
comes-
to the point that I think it was Dr. Wright made that point, right? About having to belittle others to push her up, right? Well, it was Dr. Wright. You said that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I just wrote a video, or I had a YouTube video put out today about it. That it, in creating this token, I mean, they turn a woman into like a vaudeville act by, making it her gender that's important, by making it, that she's a woman. Oh, she's a hero because I told you so. I mean, it's like the bearded Brie Larson. Let's go look at the Six Circus Sideshow over here. Instead of just a character that we can be invested in. They're getting the absolute, I mean, they're going to get from anybody that cares the absolute, or from a normie, the opposite effect of what they're wanting. I mean, this isn't marketable. It's garbage. It's tripe.
Yep. No, I agree. It is the type of thing they do. And I have to say, being the Brie Larson whisperer, I don't know if you know that, Dr. Wright, but I am the Brie Larson whisperer. She's on fire in this trailer. She is on fire. I mean, the emotion
she
coming
just-
out of her, it's amazing.
Just tell all those boys, goodness me.
I thought she was just constipated. Thank you for coming.
No, that's why I'm here. That's my job, to whisper the Brie Larson. Well, that sounds a little dirty. Ooh. Yeah, guys. The chat seems stunned. Nick W says, "I'm calling it now. Like most felines, the cat is a Skrull. You know what? It probably is. That cat is a spy. Yeah, we can all see it. And this is another thing. Maybe it's just because I'm older. I know you guys tell me what you think. Why are so many of these movies? I mean, within the first minute, I know exactly what's going to happen the whole movie. Why are they written so
Attention span.
dumb?
It's an attention span, but it's not. We just notice it more because we've seen a lot of trailers. It's kind of like the Terminator 2. They ruined the surprise, at the first few seconds of the trailer. You recall that? Where it's like, oh, kind of thing. So it's nothing new. It's just as more obvious because we have experience and we know their tricks and things before we're like, oh, new Terminator. Oh, new things. Oh, Superman. Oh, Batman.
Well,
the whole glaze over. But now our eyes awaken.
They have to give you some of the story so that you want to go see the rest of the story. Look at Avengers 3, for instance. They actually put out some pieces of that trailer that gave you a different impression, and scenes that weren't really there that they sort of CGI'd together to sort of want you to go to the movie, but then, it wasn't exactly like that. Well, here, I'm not sure they're doing that. I think what you're getting is actually parts of the movie, because they do need to actually get you to want to go see it in this particular incarnation of this movie.
I just
Right.
came over here and did
So-
a quick search for female Air Force pilot, because of course we do have female pilots. There's not as many as there are the male, of course, but we do have them. I absolutely. And I just want to come over here and take a look at what an Air Force pilot looks like. Well,
Wait, they're smiling. First
They
off.
are smiling. They're pretty normal looking people, so okay.
Okay, I don't think anything is actually coming out around the time for Captain Marvel, which kind of seems like they don't really have faith in it. So they're kind of hoping to go, well, look, it did successful, even though it was the only thing out at the time. But I'm not 100% on that.
Later, Pixel.
Well,
But yeah, no, this is a fun thing to continue watching, and it's yes, thank you. We don't thank you. We don't need that. And this article goes on to talk about it. You know, we've said everything it's in it, to be honest with you. But it is interesting here, Janelli. I think that the Hollywood Reporter even is saying why Captain Marvel trailer feels like a course correction. Even they are making similar comments to what we're saying, right?
right. Because you have two sides yelling at them. The first one saying, well, she's not emoting. She has facialist expression, which, they misconstrued it. Oh, you're being, sexist because you're expecting a woman to say. No, we're expecting her to act.
Yes, yes.
As an actor. And the other one says, you lady, and all that, and that outrage. So they had to show that first scene, and then you saw a lot of her smiling. Which kind of
okay.
Yes, I mean, you're the whisperer. You're the Bree whisperer.
I am.
You can decide.
Well, right here in this picture, for instance,
she doesn't know how to get out of that suit.
Maybe. Right here in this picture, for instance, she is saying, "I am ready to take on the day because I am the hero for all time." That's what she's saying. It's
hero.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
heroine. I'll get in trouble for that one. That'll probably get me a community strike.
Boom.
Vailness
I think
says,
this is selling virtue. This is a virtue token that you can cash in at the social media ticket counter. Get yourself a nice plastic umbrella or a wooden box to put some fake jewelry in, like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, but
this is.
It really sucks, though, doesn't it? I mean, because this could be a cool movie, dude. I mean, if we come back over here, where is that thing that just offended me so? Right here.
It looks beautiful.
Look at that. That's pretty. Look at this. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look how bad it is. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, it's horrible. Oh god. It's horrible. It hurts. It hurts, dude.
Well, remember, this was a Kelly Sue Cormick run. So
Deconic. It's Deconic.
Deconic.
Don't try.
Don't try, dude.
Deconal. Gotta just
Yeah. Let me cover a few of the comments over here, though. Argos Creation would like us to talk about the Shang-Chi article. I think we did talk about that yesterday.
Yes.
Vailnid, the first trailer, they at least gave the pretense that there was a mystery to the character plot, but the trailer explained the entire movie. No reason to go. Yeah, they did. They showed you exactly what's going to happen in this whole movie. Let's see. Dave says faceless expressions. It's true. Risey Lee says, I don't get why people waste time and money going to movies these days. Needs to be something good to get me to go watch it. Yeah, no, I'll just wait for Netflix, right? Kat says, why does everything keep saying she's not good looking? She's really pretty. I don't know. Did anybody here say she's not attractive?
That's
I
true.
don't find her attractive, but it's because of the way she's presenting herself. She's acting as if she's got a lot more going for herself than she does. I mean, yeah, she's a pretty good actress, and she's okay, I guess, physically. I don't consider her to be like a Bridget Bardot or an Ingrid Bergman or somebody with a high amount of like high class beauty.
No. Well, she's more the girl next door, right? I mean, that's her thing. But yeah, I don't think anyone thinks he's ugly. I mean, it would really be nice if she'd smile more. But that's going to get me a social ban too. I guarantee it. But
I like her smile.
It
reminds me of the pretty trucker.
The what?
You know how there's always got to be one pretty trucker.
Oh
yeah,
the pretty
trucker.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, when people smile, no matter whether they be male or female, it calms the people who are there around and shows that you are accessible and someone that can be talked to and interacted with, right? So when we say smile, it isn't because you're female, it's because you're human.
Well, it's not only that. I mean, do you want to go and talk to somebody that looks like they're miserable?
No,
Mm.
exactly. I mean, that's the point, right? And no, I don't. I think she's a
I mean,
normal, fine-looking person, Cat. I don't think she's ugly. No.
yeah, and I mean it's kind of to the point where you Chester said in Tokyo Comic Con that he went towards an artist who drew Spider Gwen, but because she had this upset face or angry face, I'm not sure how you described it, Chester, you didn't really want to talk to her, and nobody was
Oh, right.
coming to reach out. So it was a kind of put off expression that you're like, I don't want to get near you.
Well, she looked pissed off, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it come down to, and no one wants to interact with you like that. And even with the few smiles they had her do, it's just not her. It's just not her natural thing. We've seen her on Twitter. We've seen other pictures of her. She is not a person who emotes. She is maybe a sociopath. I don't know. But she doesn't know how to emote very well, and it's shocking to me because isn't this supposed to be an Oscar-nominated person? So once again,
Her
it
tribute
Yes, for
to
room, I
Stan Lee
believe.
yeah,
made
but once
my
again,
skin
that just
crawl.
shows you the nonsense of the Oscars, right? Because this is not a person who knows how to act. Um, we have YYY from Derek, supremely boring, and she's just boring from Thundero. Borrowed heavily from the previous 70 stories, Nick W. says. Bethany says, I think she's pretty. I don't know how well she acts, though. Now it's interesting, ladies. I see a lot of times ladies will kind of get on top of the pretty thing. What a man
Yeah.
finds attractive and
Get
what
on
you find
top.
attractive are different. You understand that, right? Just to be fair. But I don't think any of us are saying she's an ugly girl because she's not.
I
But
mean, I
she,
am.
okay, well, you can. But I'm saying but her expressions, her lack of emotion, and her nasty words that come out of her mouth on a pretty consistent basis is what makes her ugly. Because, beauty is skin deep, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
That was even poetic
So
almost to
yep.
I'll
So
say she's holistically unapproachable.
yep.
Ooh. Okay. Anyway,
Moving on.
that's enough of the news for
I've
today.
got I've got one I got one thing on this,
Mhm.
and that is the hero part. Because when I first saw this, I saw that, and you guys spoke about it at length. In the original trailer that they put out, there was a huge portion in which her was like, now we finally get a female hero, a woman that is also a hero. We finally get one, and that's been pushed. And this time around, when I saw it, they gave me more of the character before the her o part, and I thought that at this point it was actually saying that this woman that went through this crisis, has become a hero and made it more personal instead of it just being a finally woman that we get. And so I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because I saw it that way.
Are you playing devil's advocate again? What did I tell you about that?
Or
Goodness gracious.
That's
You
okay.
have
Moving
many
on.
showers to take today, Todd. Sorry.
I'm dirty.
All right. Let's
Yeah.
move on to our next thing, though. We have certainly killed enough time with the news, and we had some fun news too. We had several good chuckles. But the
Yeah.
chuckling is done, ladies and gentlemen, because boom, we are getting into Tokyo Ghost. Now, first impressions down the board, and then we'll get into talking about this comic. Wish Pixel was still here, but he had to run away to do something. But let me come over here real quick and let me find out who has actually read this book. Now, I've read the entire 10-part series. Pofar, you ever read this?
No, I have not. I don't tend to read stuff outside of Titan's books.
Okay, well, there,
That's a
narrow of
shame.
focus. That is a
That's
shame.
shameful.
It is.
Come
Hey,
on.
I've read some Marvel, but the Marvel books I read are usually X-Men, and I feel kind of like the X-Men have been mistreated for a while now. So
They have. That's true. That's true. How about you, Todd? Have you read this before?
Yeah, I have.
Cool. Well, give us a general impression. Just a general impression.
It's a brutal tale. It's definitely not an SJW book.
Oh, no.
But It's fun. There's a lot of fun moments. But yeah, it's kind of brutal. You know, there's a lot of violence, and this character can take a ton of punishment.
Yes, and let's give a very serious spoiler warning, not a spoiler warning, a warning. This is a mature book, ladies and gentlemen. It is not only
That means
violence. That means you, yes. It's not only that it has vulgarities, language, violence, nudity. It is raw, 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 raw. So we're giving you this warning, and if you're offended by those kind of things, then you probably shouldn't hang around. We do appreciate you coming in and joining us today, but we are going to do this, and the reason we're going to do it, we normally wouldn't cover this kind of book here, just to be fair. But the reason we're doing it is because the art in this book demands your attention. It demands it. I mean, I'm going to say this right now. From my point of view, this might well be the most beautiful comic book I've ever seen in my life. And I mean that. I mean that seriously. It is stunningly beautiful, stunningly well done in every way. We'll get into details on that. Of course, we have artists here, and we have everybody has opinion as well. But it is an amazing, amazing piece of art. And therefore we're gonna talk about it. But do understand this is a mature book, and I will do my best to try to skip through the most vulgar parts. But just be warned. Okay, Dr. Wright, you ever read this? Dr. Wright?
I read this a long time ago as I was trying to learn more about Remender's style, and it follows his particular style, which is he has a lot of exposition and diatribe around the story itself. It also deals with very common elements within his storytelling, which are sacrifice, the idea of losing control in some way.
Mm-hmm.
He loves to deal with the main characters either starting with no control or having their control like usurped and then having to kind of reassert themselves into almost a new reality. Which, I mean, that's a lot of what this. I mean, this is like a dystopian nightmare kind of thing, if I remember it correctly.
Extremely
I mean, it's like
so. Yes.
like starts with like someone running across a scaffolding that's in the middle of an acid ocean, and then like I think the daughter, isn't it? This is the father, I think, and it's like his daughter is one of the main characters.
No.
I remember
these two are lovers.
Oh, okay. And then I mean I remember it's a pretty sad tale. It's pretty crazy.
It is insane. It is insane. That is true. Cool. Now, Denali, how much of this have you read?
I think I read like about 5 issues worth.
So the first volume. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, what's your overall first impression, dude?
Well, what struck me the most was the coloring. That's what drew the attention. The line work as well, but the coloring as well. And it's not surprising because the colorist was Matt Hollingsworth, who won an Eisner Award, back in, I think it was 97 for his Preacher run. The Preacher Death, the Time of Your Life. And he won for that. And the Challengers of the Unknown. And that was in 97.
Challengers of the Unknown. I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So he colored that. So this is a good example about how crucial getting a good colorist is for the book, because it can either enhance your art or it can detract from your art.
Yep.
And we've seen a couple of, comics where the artwork is wonderful, but the colorist was so flat, so lifeless that it detracted from the overall experience. So it's definitely something that, those who are reading or watching or thinking of making their own comic books to have a consideration. It's like, is this worth being colored? And if so, who is the best colorist for the job, for the work that I'm trying to put in, kind of deal.
Well, these two guys work together a lot, and what they do prove together is that you can do superheroes without having to do that cut and grad, shiny costume style. this is very this is actually very easy to mimic for a colorist with any skill. Is just to give it. It's a painterly style. So the brushes, like you're not just laying out a flat skin tone. You're putting a little bit of texture in your brushes, and as long as you have those tools, this can be easily mimicked, and you don't have to overdo it. You don't have to have 3 layers of skin tones. There's basically 2. There's where the light is coming from, and then shadow, and that's simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And there's going to be a lot of those kind of art points. So we're really happy to have Todd here. Now I know DeWolf, you haven't read this series, but do you want to make a comment at the beginning, or you just want to wait until we get into it here?
I was able to skim through the first issue, and
Okay.
and so some things pointed out to me. Actually, the first thing I did want to mention was to me it reminds me a little of Eon Flux meets Borderlands, the video game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really felt this is very much oh, I might just left my head. But yeah, okay, that's fair. Now I know Booster, you've read a couple of the issues of this. What's your impression?
I have. It's fantastic. I love just this. It's got insane action. It's got ultra violence. The the dialogue about technology and internet and social media and stuff. Reality television, all that. It wasn't subtle. Wasn't subtle in the least, but it was still very fun. Practically, I believe this main character is absolutely hooked on little. What do they call it? Some kind of nanotech that displays a little visor around them that makes them constantly watching television shows.
Oh,
And
yeah,
all
yeah.
sorts of things hooked to every single bits of. Yeah, practically technology rules their life to the point where he's not even a human anymore.
It's an addiction.
And our female main character is completely off all these things, and she's she's healthy and she's fine and everything.
True.
She's trying to get him off Twitter.
In a way. This is well, I didn't mention the writing. The writing in this is not great. It's pretty middling, and it's very preachy and pretentious, and it's got all these kind of negative adjectives that could be thrown on top of it. But the general heavy-handed concept that's going on here is modern social media bad, 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 and in the future it becomes a true addiction, addiction, addiction. That's it. There you go.
Yeah.
Done.
Not to mention
Right.
the main villain in this and the first issue. He talked like an old guy who had heard kids play video games before.
Yes, and it
He's
is
like going, "Oh, I'm going to level 2. I'm going to get a high score. Get pwned, noobs." It was a bit.
It's really
Come
bad.
on, Dad.
Yeah, it's
Stop
really
it.
bad. And to be honest with you, issue 1 and issue 6 are really poorly written. They're really bad. The rest of it is better, but it's kind of nonsense. But we're not here talking about how this amazing story that is just going to move you and change you. This isn't anything to do with the story. Like I said, it's pretty poor. But the art is what we're here for. That's the point. Now, I know some of you might disagree with me, but I've really found the story to be extremely heavy-handed and just, pretentious as all get out. But that's just my opinion. Anybody else want to make an opinion on the writing itself?
That's Remender's style, to be completely honest.
Okay.
I mean, if you go from 7 to Eternity, Deadly Class, all of it is. I mean, it's almost like porn. It's an over initiation into a specific feeling or emotive, and that's basically what. I mean, I always call when people ask me what Deadly Class is, I tell them it's depression porn.
Yeah.
Because everybody's depressed, everybody's angry, and I mean, he tends to do that. Like, I mean, it's the same thing in. From 7 to Eternity, the story doesn't even start until like the second or third issue. Like the first issue is, it's so boring.
Well,
it's horribly boring.
One good point I could put on to it though is playing devil's advocate like DeWolf likes to do, is it's so simple and heavy-handed that anybody can read it and get it. So I mean maybe that's a good point. because it's so obvious. There's no subtlety to it. So maybe there is that aspect is a good point. But like I said, we're not here talking about the story. The story is very, very simple. I'll lay it out, and we're going to talk about the art. The story is this: it's in the future. The Los Angeles is no longer part of California. There are a bunch of islands because of pollution and man, man, bad man, pollution, bad man, global warming, bad man. They make those kind of jokes as well, or comments as well. Um, and it's everything is so toxic and bad. The water will actually kill you because it's acid. That's how horrible it is. And this guy you see here, his name is Teddy, but he has the name of Lead Dent. And he is a constable, or just because this comic book is basically take Road Warriors and Judge Dredd and mix it. That's what this is, right? And he is basically a judge, but they call him constables in this. And he is just a mindless Hulk, really, because he's locked into this thing that Booster was talking about, the addiction of the social media at all times. He doesn't know what he's doing. But this girl over here, she keeps him in line. She loves him, and they've been together a long time, and their story is a little slightly tragic. And she's trying her best to save him and find a way out. And what they do is they finish this job for the big boss, who's like a business boss, and his name is Flack. And he promised them that if they got this one bad guy, they would be let out of their contract and they could leave. But of course he turns it around on them and betrays them just as you would expect. And what they do is they go to Tokyo, because Tokyo is a paradise, they hear, and they want to steal the resources. Now, I'm not going to go any deeper into the story because you should go read it yourself, but that's the general concept. They go to Tokyo to try to steal the resources, and things happen. That's the whole series. Anybody want to make an add to that? No. All right, cool.
No, that's correct, Chester.
Well, just laying out the general story because
Yeah, no. You summarized it well enough.
So now, this of course looks really cool and tough and an interesting motorcycle here, but it's this art now, and you guys comment as I'm scrolling through here. I'll just kind of shut up and let you guys interact with it. But the problem I have, and the question I would like, hopefully by the end of this, that can be answered for me. I don't understand why this art is so awesome to me. It is, though. So along the way, help me understand why this is, because it feels like it shouldn't be as awesome to me, but it is. So you guys help me out. So I'm just going to go, and you guys go ahead and chat.
Is the correct answer because it is?
No, there's something more to it, dude. I feel there's something, but go ahead and introduce who's on this book, Danelli.
So you mean as the creators? Yeah,
writer,
the
artist,
writers,
colors, letters, yeah.
Yeah. So it's Rick Remender. It's the writer. The artist is Sean Gordon Murphy. The color is Matt Hollingsworth. The letter is Russ Wootton. And the editor is Sebastian Gurner.
I don't know the name. I will say the letterer doesn't do a very good job either.
Yeah.
We got a couple of pieces just of art just showing here in the beginning, and we get into the story. So, let's have Booster go ahead and start off and tell us what's happening in these scenes and just what you think about the art and stuff.
Alrighty. So we're starting with "You Remember, Teddy." Am I reading it, or am I just telling what's going on?
Reading. We won't read this. It's way too much text, dude. Just gonna give us a general idea.
All right, we got this wee lad here. He's running off, getting chased by our main character, the constable. Lead Dent. Dent, quite the name. And he's all "F you, Dent," because he's got captured because he's one of the bad guys. And I believe he was working for our main antagonist of this issue, wasn't he? Absolutely wrecked. I love it. I love how our main character lived in is driving along motorcycle. He's barely paying attention, right? He's got all these little screens in front of him, his social media, his shows. Apparently, he just likes watching his shows, is what they say, right? Probably he's probably watching several at once, but he's able to drive a motorcycle everywhere, listen to this girl, and absolutely wreck people. It's strange. He can pay attention while doing all this nonsense, you know. And so now we got this. Was this guy Davey? Was it?
No, it's not Davey. It's
bad
just
guy?
an insignificant, grunt. He's
No,
not important.
I'm saying he's now getting controlled by Davey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Davy's talking
Who-
through him. Yeah, you're
Able
right.
to pop into the minds of anyone who has this tech, but for some odd reason, won't go into this big bad guy because it wouldn't be fair because he sees everything as a game. It sounds like a weak explanation as to how the overpowered enemy can't beat the heroes, but whatever.
Yeah.
And we have some
And
wonderful cannibalism here. How nice.
Yep. Some cannibalism, and it's interesting. Yeah, he's got this really scratchy artwork, right? But even in the tiniest panels, there's so much going on with Sean Gordon Murphy's work.
Dude, it's
And
ridiculous.
just
Look at this shot, man.
environments. Yeah, huge environments.
Blade
He's able to
Yeah.
fit so much in a panel. It's insane.
You know what I want? I want to wipe all this text out of the way, because it's just. And the thing is, there's so many of these. We'll go past that. But look at this. Look at this right here. I mean, my goodness.
Okay,
man.
that you can see in this panel what Sean Gordon Murphy wanted to draw. He loves drawing vehicles, and he designs some awesome cars, right?
He has a whole book about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's good
Grace Car
stuff.
Cafe or something like that.
Yeah. Huge environments.
It's gorgeous. And Todd, you were talking to me earlier about how Murphy here really does a good job of taking the long shot and pulling us into the action. Could you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the more you see of the character's environment, the more you believe in where they're at. So that you sort of get a perspective of this is where we're at, this is where they're headed, this is where they're going. And the more you do that with long shots, the more the reader follows along. Is they stay sort of engaged. They're engaged because you bring them in, and you can do this with these, using these. Like, look, every prop. I mean, obviously the people are small, but the street lamp looks right. All the awnings look right. There's an accuracy to the drawing. So that just brings you deeper into the environment and sort of you let go. What do they call that when you watch a movie and you get rid of what's that term? Believability. What the hell is the term I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
So that you escape. It's oh man, I can't think of it right now. No,
Immersion.
but there's sort of no. I forget what it is.
That's okay,
but it's
dude.
when you watch a movie, you sort of give yourself in surrender once things start to roll and you start to get into where you're at. Murphy does this really well by bringing you in with long shots. If you don't do these long shots, then no one will ever, like, for instance, if you're on Asgard and you're there with Thor, if you don't show the beauty of Asgard, it'll just seem like this is just a pale version of Thor. The more you do these long shots, the more you'll bring the reader right into the environment, make them believe. I remember saying that this once about Oliver Copiel's Thor. Walt Simonson made me love Thor. Oliver Copiel made me believe in Thor. And he did it with these nice long shots, just like Murphy uses here.
Wow.
So there's something to be said about this, that I am changing my style and incorporating more long shots into my environments because I want you to, I want to bring you in. I want you to be engaged in the world and believe that it exists. So if you do this with these nice details and everything is done so nice and crisp, then your eye, the things that he isn't showing, your eye is just assuming. Your brain just makes up for the rest. This almost seems like these cars are coming at you. right?
Yeah, it does, and the chat has helped you out. Suspension of belief, or
Disbelief.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
there's more to it than that, though. I can tell you
yeah,
why this is appealing to your eye,
yeah.
Chester.
Please.
Okay, you see this? This is the beginning composition. What he's using is actual cinematic composition. He's not
Yeah.
just using like normal comic books. They don't follow rules that the cinema does, but he is. Like you have a wide shot here. You can see everybody. You can see where everyone is in relation to everything else. Then the first panel that you see is them. You know, you've got a semi-wide shot, a medium wide. You're closing in. Then you close in on her. She jumps away. What do you immediately see? Then you flip 180. You see his view to her, right? Then you see him looking past her and you see everything around them. Okay. And then it comes back to looking at him because she's looking at him like, hey, what's going on? What that is you're keeping a 180. Okay. You have a wide shot, then you go in, then you turn, you pan, right? You're looking through one person, you're looking at the person that they're looking at, then you switch over to 180. There's a 180 rule where they kind of stay on the opposite shoulders. And if you don't break that, then it's more immersive.
Yep.
Because it looks as if you're going from one person to the next.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you break that 180, what it does is it puts them on the opposite side, which makes them look different. And a lot of comic books do that because they don't understand what they're doing.
That makes sense. It is absolutely stunning, and I see the cinematic thing you're talking about, and yeah, it's a good point. Over here in the chat, just because there are some comments that I want to cover. Jay Potts, the studio, says at first glance, crude but deceptively complex. Yeah. Thundero said his wife is doing well, which is I'm really happy to hear that, dude.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
we have Bethany says the art is cool, grungy but stylistic. Yeah. Uh, the Christopher C says the text walls are daunting. Yes, they are. And there's too much text, and especially in this first issue, the art is gorgeous, but the story is bad. I mean, it's just this guy is trying so hard to create a lingo. In my opinion, he fails miserably at it. But that's what he's trying to do. But there is a lot of text, but it just depends on the person. Some people might like that. Um, and they're helping with the suspension of disbelief. Draken says he's divided up the scene into warms and cool colors. Yeah, Todd talks about that a lot. The top is a lighter blue, and at the bottom is a more heavier concentration of blue, which divides and centers the scene, but also grounds it. Cool. That's excellent.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
well, the cooler colors and the warmer color helps direct the eyes where you're supposed to be looking at.
Right.
The direction.
In that bottom panel where it's warm, I don't know what the text says because I can't really read it, but there must be something important over there because that's what he's meant to do is show you, like he made it warm in that area. Obviously, I can see the guy's motorcycles back there, right? Is that what
Yeah.
that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool that they
That's
do
how
have the motorcycle laid out here because in most of the time you see his motorcycle, it looks different when he's riding it because the front end is up. I actually like the fact that it's just sitting here flat and off. It's cool to be able to see that bike like that. But that's another point. But yeah, no, she's talking and she's chattering, and because he doesn't speak much because he's locked
No.
into his addiction, you know.
Right.
One thing I noticed is along the edge on the bottom right hand side, you see these little specks of color here in the dark, and they're in the middle between the panels. Or they're so basically the big large page that's behind everything is still behind these. So there's more of a suspension of disbelief again that this is a solid world and this is something else going on in it. And this was a picture taken. Once again, that cinematic thing. It's not just colored off with black around all the panels.
Yeah,
Right.
actually, I kind of want to see what's underneath it, to be honest with you.
There's underneath that now, but these middle panels, artistically, I don't like them, but I do definitely see how they actually contribute to the storyline of what's going on here. And one thing that pops out to me is the people on the bottom, the art that is created out of these people, how the way they're grouped together, you know, how they're even drawn, and she really pops out. Just her, I don't know what it is, expression, how the coloration is used. That I guess actually going with what Dr. Wright was talking about, how in this final part, she's looking at him, so you can tell with how stark frontal she is that she's concentrating on him. It uh, is done very well. Yeah.
It
He's
is
not
done
looking
well.
at him. I think he's outside,
He is.
and
He
he's
is.
looking at her, and she's looking at whoever she's going to make a deal with or something. And then it looks like the last panel is him going, huh?
Oh
But
yeah,
what
yeah.
it is, I think that I think that's the motorcycle panel that's behind all these other panels. But again, we're using cinematic composition. He's broken this down into fifths. This is actually like if you study graphic overlay, then he's using that kind of science. I mean, Sean Gordon is obviously a very talented guy. He studied different forms of composition, not just comic books. This is panel composition, cinematic composition, graphic composition, all in one. This has been broken down into fifths. Your eyes directly pulled to her in areas that she's in. Because if you break that, like it's, you have the different rules. You have the golden ratio, then there's the thirds and the fifths. Usually, new guys drop it in the fifths. You'll see them. They kind of draw along a baroque or sinister line, and then they draw like diagonals according to that. You break it down into fifths, and then your eye is pulled to things depending on the line weight, the color, different things. And so for her, I mean, it's like, excuse me. Where she exists, where she's jumping over the motorcycle here and kind of ignoring him, and then she comes up here. Those are both fifth areas. Basically, when it intersects, that's an area that pulls your eye when they draw this. It's kind of, I don't know if you guys remember, but like Ethan had a show or he had a video where he created a cover for like the Price magazine or something, and it was like Flash and Green Lantern, and he talked about there was an entire science of where your eye is pulled.
Oh yeah.
And he drew the sinister and baroque lines, and then he broke it down into little triangles, and then he created like where the two characters met at one of those points, and that's what this guy's doing.
Yeah, and you're right, Booster. His cars are wonderful.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, that white one, it's irking me. It seems familiar.
That's a
The
Jaguar.
one with the 7 on the side?
That's a Jaguar.
I mean, is it like from something like Speed Racer or like Death Race 2000 or something?
I don't know. It might be. I just know it's a Jaguar.
I put a name in the chat to look up cinematic composition. It's a Bruce Block.
Cool.
I might have spelt it wrong, but it's it might be N with a K, but I don't know if it's a K or H. But yeah, he talks a lot about. There's actually some YouTube videos that you can find of him being interviewed and talking about cinematic composition and stuff like that. And he's like the go-to guy.
Now this fella right here that I'm on in the center, the tech guy, he is the main antagonist in book 1, and he plays a part
Right.
throughout the series. But he has an ability that he can hack into anything. And he can control machines. He can control people who have tech in their head. I mean, he's obviously a very dangerous person to the system, and that's why Led Dent and Debbie Decay here, his girlfriend, have been sent in to deal with this guy. He's extremely dangerous because of what he can do. That's who this guy is. And he is the writing for him is the real big problem in the first issue. To be honest with you, this is kind of a video game
yeah,
thing.
because
yeah,
we still call them levels today, don't we?
Well,
Oh my
look at it.
gosh.
It's an Nintendo gamepad. Look at it. It's got an
Yeah,
Atari over here, right?
That's his caricature, though. If you're going to do this guy, what he did is he came up with the concept and he went all the way, even with his speech patterns and everything else. And I'm not sure if if he did it any different, he would be a memorable character.
Maybe.
Secret bonus level. Oh man, that is so dated.
Look at the movement, though.
See, yeah, it's fantastic. It just feels like that Rick Remender probably heard of a video game or played like an arcade once in the 80s.
Yeah, but one thing he does really well here, Murphy does well, is the characters when they move, especially her because she's the light, agile fox type of character. It's very believable that she's capable. He does a really good job of making you believe the capability of the the actor, whatever it may be. That's an important thing, right? Not only in comics, but we see that in cinema all the time. How many heroes we get that I don't believe for a second they're kicking anything's butt. Not for a second, right? And this is a fairly lithe woman. She's not particularly built or tough or anything like that looking, but I believe that this character is extremely capable because of the way he draws it. It's really well done. Death, destruction, Atari. Death, destruction, Nintendo.
Yeah, merging of two realities. But what I kind of like as well is that
I
she is,
love that panel.
Yeah, this little
well,
panel, yeah.
she is, because if she was doing it perfectly, then it'd be not believable. You'd be taken out because she's like,
Yeah.
well, she doesn't have anything experience about that. But the way that she's kind of running and her expression, and she's like saying, "Am I sure I'm not going to escape all these bullets?" It kind of makes it's easier to believe in as well.
It is, and that's exactly the point. And one of the problems we see in a lot of these comics today, and in the movies and TV as well, particularly with the female characters, although I've seen it with some male characters as well, but particularly female characters, they are good at everything all the time. They never fail. They're never in danger. I'm not interested, and I don't believe they're capable of doing anything either. This is a huge problem. Having a character who is in danger, no matter how big and powerful they are, is what makes them endearing, right? Um, and I do also love that this motorcycle is actually like a track. It's not wheels. I think that's just
cool.
so cool about
Yeah.
that.
Okay, I gotta admit, Davies' dialogue is pretty amusing at times, even if the dated gaming look annoys me. What is this?
That.
YOLO bitches. God. Another thing that isn't going to age well, but all right.
You can see he's
No.
pulling from this character to make his new comic book, the next Batman White or whatever with Azrael.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, this character looks a lot like he's making Azrael.
Oh well, he's taken from his experience, I guess. But look at this far shot again. It's just beautiful. Look at it.
Oh yeah.
And do they have the rights to call things Diff Race? I don't know. I mean-
that is a fair point, huh?
Yeah. No idea, but all right.
No, when you draw something like that, you can do that.
His dialogue is he's just awful to his henchmen, but
Let's traumatize. Traumatics.
oh man.
He's got a scooter, of course, right?
Yeah.
But I feel it just goes up another level.
Mhm.
Wow, breaking in here, poor dead guy. This guy just loves murdering. Oh, look at that.
I love that stuff. I love his bike.
And he's got a knife sticking out his back and doesn't care at all. Doesn't even notice it.
Yeah. Was it Franklin St. Farts?
They keep saying that. It's dumb. There's a lot of that kind
Yeah,
of dumb
it's silly.
dialogue.
It seems like he's working on the same subtext as like The Walking Dead
Hmm.
and calling it Tokyo Ghost because this guy's already not there. He's already dead in a way.
He is very much so. Yeah, you're right.
So, yeah.
You're right.
He explains why he won't control Lid Den because he just says it wouldn't be fair, which to me is just silly plot contrivance. But
Well, we find
yeah.
out later, I think, that actually this is a double cross in a way that's going on. More constables, but for some reason the other constables in this book are nowhere near the level of Led Den. I mean, they're not even close. I mean, with Judge Dredd, I mean, he's the best judge, but the other judges are pretty good too, right? But in this one, Led Den is way beyond them, right? And I don't know if I like that so much. But once again,
Well, I would put it down to the fact as to how much he sacrificed, how far gone he is with all his tech nonsense.
Maybe.
And that's kind of how it balances it out.
Look at that.
Because he's ridiculously strong now.
Yeah, he is.
Well, he's running away. That's basically it. He's running away from his past, from reality, from everything, close to him to get this power. I mean, he's not even there. He's just a meat shield with technology.
Oh yeah,
at this
absolutely.
point.
Yeah. We need to talk. What a great panel. Look at that panel, guys. That is wonderful.
That's awesome. I mean, what else can you say about the artwork? Just that's all I'm thinking is this is great. That's awesome. That's good. This is also good. That's what else can you really say to it? It's freaking spectacular.
We get to see his
Sean
face for
Gordon
the
Murphy's
first time.
artwork he's a master.
He is,
Yeah.
and what
Really pretty.
I'm going to jump forward real quick into the next book. Oh, this is a nice little scene too. Once again, ruined by all these text boxes, which I don't want. But let me jump over where where they actually are in Tokyo here, real quick.
Revender's really bad at that. At sticking his own
Whoa.
vanity into a beautiful scene.
Look at that, dude. Look at that.
Whoa.
Yeah. Gorgeous. But them coming into Tokyo here, this is kind of nice. That long shot, we're looking at all the ruins of Tokyo is what it is. There's the Rainbow Bridge over there. I recognize that. Got some fallen statue here, which I don't know that Tokyo has, but okay. Let me just look at it. There's one panel I want to get to here. He is spotted. Look at that. Look at that. That is beautiful. Beautiful.
See the tension? Now notice that when you build tension, there isn't any words.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh,
when
yeah.
you want to build that moment of oh crap moment, you don't throw a lot of it should be like this silent.
It is. And they
Because
even
now
have the
you
die
have-
show. They even have the die show correct. And the reason I mention this samurai has a couple of added things that a samurai wouldn't necessarily have. But he's got the geta, he's got the hakama, he's got the top gi. He got the daisho. He's got this little round purse. It's like a wooden purse, but that's very classic standard Japanese thing. The obi is not tied correctly, but that's all right. I'll forgive him for that. And it's got a little bit of even a touch of the waist armor that the samurai would use when they were in their full obidan. But that is really good. And the reason I mention that is because I'm going to show you some stuff later that is really not good.
Yeah, he also has a nice robe, hat, and sandals.
Thank you very much, DeWolf. But anyway, he got to chase after this samurai, and because he doesn't want to be spotted. They jump. Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that!
Look how small the guy is. That's how. I mean, that's the beauty of this.
Yeah. Oh, and you gotta look all the way across the page to see the other guy.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
It is beautiful.
Every artist should do more of this. I mean, I hate drawing small because I never feel like it looks right, but it doesn't really need to look like. You're supposed to allude. Everything is an illusion. So if you allude to what the character looks like, as long as you get enough of what should be there to go, oh, that's Batman, or oh, that's so-and-so, or that's Joker. As long as you do that, then you could do this beautiful background and not worry that you didn't get every detail right on your character. But he does a really good job at small.
You have to let the reader kind of participate in that art by allowing them fill in those details that you can't add. And it becomes proactive, because if you put all the details in there as passive, and then it becomes too overwhelming.
True.
So the less detail you have, the easier it is for them to register, what you're trying to tell, and easier to look at this gorgeous artwork instead of focusing, what exactly. It becomes too busy, so you want minimalism in certain points.
Well,
now if you're a digital artist, make sure you draw your characters at a decent size and then shrink them down. You don't have to worry about.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
Yeah, it's this kind of stuff I do all the time.
And to be fair, I was complaining a bit about the letterer, but they know when to not have any lettering on the panel as well. So,
right, and it's not Russ's fault. It's more like he's saying Rick Remender doesn't know how to let something breathe without him having to get his 2 cents in there.
Yeah.
This is where an editor would be saying, can you, instead of saying 24 characters, or not 24 character, but 240 characters, can you say it in 32 characters instead? Minimize what you need.
Well, what do you think about? We see him landing on this wire, and it says "vzz," the sound of a wire being having weight dropped upon it. Do you think it needed that viz, or could it just have been, well, we know what's happening? What do you guys think?
I think that it needs to be there, but instead of in yellow, it should have all been in black.
No, because it would have faded into the background, especially those shadows.
And you lighten that background so you can see those dark Z's.
Well, no, because it would affect it. Because remember, the coloring is already pointing you where to go. The Z's is kind of pointing where the action is going as well.
Yeah.
Taking away the Z's is what Chester's been talking about. Chester doesn't want the Z's at all.
No, Chester doesn't.
Well, so I like the Z's.
What he could do easier than doing all that is making a little bit of line of vibration. You can see little vibrations around the wire, and it would do the same effect. You didn't have to do the sound effect.
I think it works because it doesn't look like some kind of stock font that I added. It looks like Sean Gordon Murphy drew that in himself.
Probably
and
did, yeah.
It just adds to the movement, I feel.
Well, over here in the chat, we have J-Pot's studio talk about the previous one. These talk about the previous panel. They say that it is a wall hanging worthy. Yes, it is. Christopher C says favorite part is the shadow of the samurai. Yeah, I agree, dude. This right here with that shadow is just clean. It's perfect, dude.
Yeah.
But right here now, Todd, you're the actual artist. So what do you think about the?
No, I mean he's just trying to denote that he's sliding along this wire from sort of start to finish. So he's using a sound effect, and you're right. Murphy does usually do some of his own sound effects and gets them in there on the board themselves. So I'm pretty sure
it works better that way. Like they don't pop out too much. That's why you don't notice them as much. They don't stick out like a sore bloody thumb.
Right.
Yeah. Well, J-Pot Studio says black, and then it becomes part of the wire as is the sound. Yeah, he's talking about what you were talking about, DeWolf. And Kat says, doesn't need the Z's. I didn't even notice them until you mentioned it, and I knew what was going on. Now, that's interesting you said that. Of course, I don't think you need the Z's, but there's a lot of stuff I think is, several of the comments were made earlier from my question of why do I like this so much. I think there's a lot of little things going on my eye is seeing that I'm not aware of that are important to me absolutely just eating it up. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think these Z's are the most polarizing thing we've had on Fanspeak.
They might be.
Seems 50-50. It's a real controversy.
This whole panel has disease.
It has disease. I get it. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But a little bit of comedy here with wah 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 doink. Hold on, hold tight. She's jumping.
Yeah, those are fine.
Yeah, wow, it doesn't really move well.
Yeah, those little doinks. Yeah, I feel those work.
Yeah, they're
little zizz and doinks. Yeah.
Look how small. Look at that inset. How small she's in that inset.
Mm-hmm.
Where she's leaping, like you're looking crouch view.
Yeah.
Look how small she is and how well that just is done.
It's beautiful. Yeah. He really moves her well. She moves really well. He's a big meat stick, so he doesn't necessarily move well, but she moves beautifully. And the samurai is moving beautifully as well.
Looking at it just makes me think I gotta go back to school,
It is impressive, dude. She clambers into him, and they bounce, bang, boom, down. It's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now this is what I wanted to get to, and this is the last part of the issue 1, and we're going to stop here on issue 1. And I do suggest you guys go read this. Like I know I was being a little bit tough on the story, but in issue 2 it gets a little better, the writing, and it certainly you can enjoy it and get what it's saying to you. Um, but you have to go look at this book. It's just the art is insane, guys. But this is an interesting scene to me, and the reason why is because you noticed before, which DeWolf mocked me on, of how detailed and correct the samurai was. This is not Japanese at all. This is Chinese, right? And
Yeah.
something I see in so many movies, even ones you would think would be right, like The Last Samurai or Diary of a Geisha or things like that. Um, they never look Japanese. They always have a lot of Chinese feel to them. And I don't know why Hollywood and comic book artists, at least some, can't get this right. Why can't you see the difference between what China looks like and what Japan looks like? Because for me, they're not even closely similar. It's like comparing a person from France or England to a person from friggin' Saudi Arabia. I mean, they really have no similarity, but they never get it right. Never. Because this
Probably
is
because of it's more flashy. The Chinese is more
it is
flashy compared to the Japanese,
that's
and
true.
you want that. You want the more eye popping. I mean, more of this. I could see more of a Korean flavor to this.
Oh no, this is
Closer.
full on Chinese
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I could even go through and name exactly what the pieces of the clothing are, but DeWolf isn't here,
The
so I won't do it.
well,
But
I think from the head ornament, I can't to the dress, it would be considered. I think even the slash itself is all there.
Yeah,
it is.
dress.
Uh,
It
Denali got
is.
it right.
Yeah,
mhm.
dress. But the thing is, this is a Japanese lady, right? And she's,
Right.
so but anyway, that's just it's a nitpick that has nothing to do with how gorgeous she looks. Because once again, a great panel, great panel. And look at all the nice action we have. All the people around. This lady is sitting there serene, and we have our Danny, our hero, sitting there in a ready to go pose with her gun. It's just beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
You know what this art reminds me? It reminds me of Fable. Have you read those comics?
You talk about the Japanese fairy tale one?
Well, not the
Fables.
Fables.
Yeah,
Not,
by
yeah,
Vertigo. Yeah, I've read that.
yeah. So the art kind of reminds me of that as well.
Hmm.
Well,
So that's another book comic, and it's all about the stories as well that we can talk about. But no, definitely ended here in this gorgeous.
I am. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I've heard of, this is definitely an example of a mediocre story that's been carried by the artwork, right? Can you think of the other way around, where a great story carried crappy artwork?
Oh,
Happens
sure.
all the time.
All the time.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
Walking Dead.
Well, this is an example of the other way around. I'm just thinking.
Because in
The
truth,
artwork
right,
is-
if we had to choose, right, a great art, bad story, great story, bad art, what would you lean toward?
For a comic book, wouldn't it be great art, bad story?
Yeah, I'd want the great
Yeah, you mean
great art myself. Yeah.
more apt to put your money down on great art.
That's true,
Mm.
but the story is what keeps you bringing you back, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good thing this is a limited series then.
It is, yeah. But
Well,
okay. Well, we're gonna
If
go
you
ahead
take
and
the total, if you take the total of the whole run, weren't you pleasantly pleased with it? If anyone read all 10 issues, weren't you pleased with it?
with the overall
Yeah.
story, the story is fine.
Yeah.
It's like I said before the end of issue 1, I knew exactly what was going to happen throughout the entire series, and I was exactly right. Exactly right. I mean, sometimes there's like a
it
deviation.
telegraphed it. Yeah,
Extremely.
it telegraphed it everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
So
yeah. So no. But I mean, it's readable. It's not like it's unreadable. It's and like I said, especially after issue 1, it gets better. It is better. That character that he was trying so hard to be hip with is the problem. And after that, it becomes kind of a little bit of a boring read, actually. But the art is just so insane that it adds levels to the writing, I think. So yeah, you definitely should go read this and check it out. If not, just to flip through it. Matter of fact, you know what I'd love to have? I would love to own these issues that have zero dialogue at all. I would
The
like to just
version
have the
copies.
colored,
Yeah.
yeah, the pre-lettered version. I'd love to own it.
So
Anyway,
what you need is sort of like an audio book that runs in the background while you flip the pages.
no, I just want to look at the art.
Ooh, audiobook. That might be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, geez.
Well,
Multimedia comic book something.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. We'll talk.
Weren't these tried, by the way? Weren't these kind of things tried?
I don't know.
I know I've seen.
No.
We have motion comics.
Yeah. But they still. Go ahead.
What's the Wolverine one that they just announced that there's a sequel coming to? I remember telling you guys about it with Richard Armitage does the voice of Wolverine.
Yeah, it's like a motion comic, dude.
Yeah. It's a motion comic.
Yeah.
Right.
They're cool. I love them. I think they're cool. I watched that Black Panther motion comic series. I thought that was great. I like them. I like motion comics. I wish they do more of them. Maybe
No,
we
but you
should
have
do
to
our
have-
own motion comic, huh?
You have to have the printed material in front of you, and then you have one of those little cool squarey code things that you click, and then it'll start just an audio file running of it being read, and then of course it'll read, instead of having the balloon boxes, it'll read what the characters should be saying on that panel, on those panels, and then finally in the corner it'll say turn page, and then you turn page.
Yeah, so basically, the motion comics, they add the balloons. So what we're thinking is not just having the pictures and just having the audio, which is a little bit different.
Well, anyway, let's go ahead and wrap up Tokyo Ghost. Now, we didn't get into why it's called Tokyo Ghost, but honestly, you should go read that to find out for yourself. And Kat says, please do your own motion comic. Yeah, that would be fun, actually. We do have some people capable of voices around here. That would be fun. We should actually maybe think about that.
Who are they, Chester?
They would be you. They would be Tank. DeWolf can do an occasional Russian who fades into German.
I haven't even gotten started yet.
Okay,
that's interesting because my Russian becomes Dracula.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
And I think I could probably handle a couple little things. And of course, Denali does women really well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, Todd.
Well,
thanks, dude. He's got to go. All right, let's just go down the panel and give you final impressions, and we'll end the show today. So, Booster, what do you think, man? What's your overall final conclusion on Tokyo Ghost? Give us a 1 to 10.
I've only read the first couple of issues, so I'm very much keen to read more. I'm bloody 7, 8 even. Like I said, the writing is serviceable, but the art absolutely carries it, and I want to read more Sean Gordon Murphy stuff. I'm looking forward to reading his Hellblazer book, and just anything he's doing, I want to read it, man. He's incredible.
He is. Yeah. What do you think, DeWolf?
It's definitely worth a read if you can get past the, I go beyond gritty. It's beyond gritty. It's
vulgar.
Vulgar. Even some of the artwork and some of the stuff. In that way that I think Walking Dead even gets vulgar and tries to impress you with how badly it can be. And in that regard, it's also done very well. So if you can get past that, if you can do that one part of that, and then the language and everything else, I think actually for it being a mature book, though, it's not just mature reading material because we want to throw a bunch of bad controversial stuff out there. It actually fits the story and it works well. I guess I'd call it, I would call it not rated. Our normal rating system, overrated, underrated. I'd call it not rated because I didn't know about it. And so I think this would make an excellent movie. So possibly I'd go with, it's underrated.
It could be a good movie, actually. It could be, yeah. It would need a lot of treatment on the script, but I think, yeah, this could definitely be a movie. And the vulgarity is extreme in certain places. I mean, really extreme, and it really seems like they're desperate to, like DeWolf has said, they're desperate to be vulgar, and that puts me off a little bit because but it's similar to like Game of Thrones, right? Which I don't
Hmm.
consider that to be particularly vulgar, but they do have a lot of sex in that. But in the Game of Thrones, there's actually only one sex scene that is actually necessary, and that's the one in the very beginning where the boy falls out the window and breaks his legs or breaks his back. That you need that sex scene, but beyond that, it's just gratuitous. Now, this goes way beyond Game of Thrones. This is far, far vulgar. As a matter of fact, this makes Game of Thrones seem like a Disney G movie. It's
Yeah,
super vulgar, guys.
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Denali. What's your final opinion here?
I'm saying if this was done by any artist with lesser talent, it wouldn't have been. I don't think it would have succeeded the 10 issue it did. I think this art has carried the whole story forward. And if it wasn't for Sean Gordon Murphy's artwork, even with the story, even if it was Rick Remender writing, the vulgarity that we're talking about would have just put people off, and this
Yep.
would have been done like by issue 4, and not move past on it, because it's the artwork that continues propelling that story forward, and we just wanted to see more of that artwork.
Yep.
So it would be overrated per the writing, but the artwork is it's underrated. That that's really the biggest strength of this miniseries, this 10-issue miniseries.
Yeah.
It's the artwork.
It is. And actually, with DeWolf mentioning a movie, if they brought this down to like an R, and
Oh yeah.
made a movie of it, I think it would be excellent, dude. It's a great little idea for a story. It's interesting. But yeah, I think I've given my opinion overall. I think I think it's underrated in the fact that a lot of people probably don't know about it, and that's a shame. And I think the reason why a lot of people don't know about it is that a lot of people won't review it because it's hard. I mean, honestly, I ran through a lot of things, but it's just we couldn't read the dialogue, guys. It's too vulgar. And it just people don't know about it, and I think it's a shame. I think unfortunately there's a lot of people who would never read it because of how bad it is, because it just deserves attention. But that's what it is. So I would say it's underrated. But yeah, thank you all very much for joining us today. It was a lot of fun. It seems a few of you are very interested in Booster making a motion comic, and we'll see what we can do about that. We'll put him right to work, his little hobbit feet moving right along.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep in mind that tomorrow is the pro edition of Drawn and Quartered, and that's going to be on John Malin's channel. So go check that out because I'm pretty confident that John Malin will actually show up and do what he said he's going to do, unlike other people. Um, on Thursday after that, we are having the fan edition, and it's going to be on this channel. Now, we've made a little bit of changes with Pixel Trader because a lot of you were saying, hey, um, hey, we can't find it. Where is it? And many of times when I'm doing the fan edition, I'll get Facebook DMs or Twitters, people saying, hey, aren't you on today? And I'll have to give them the link. So what we're doing is we're going to lock the fan edition on FanSpeak here. And then for the first 3 weeks of the month, we are going to talk about the guest channel that would be the last Thursday of the month. And that way we can promote those channels and go over and have a single different host every month. And hopefully
It's
that'll
ours
have.
now.
What did you say?
You
Booster?
can't have it anymore. It's our show.
Well, okay. But really, it's just to try to deal with all those, complaints we've been getting about that, and we understand, because the initial idea that Pixel had to move it around and help small channels get some attention and get some subs and kind of grow is a great idea. but moving around so much is troublesome for people finding it, and we get that. So we're going to stop doing that. We're going to do it once a month. We're going to have 3 episodes where we will promote that single host in the month, and that way it'll be easy to find, and we'll move forward like that. So that's happening as well. And of course, this Saturday, please come join us because we are going to be watching the original Godzilla, 1954 Godzilla, and we're going to be
Gojira.
talking about it. Gojira, yes. And we actually think we might have figured out a way where you can all join us while we do it. Without getting community strikes and such. So we'll try to have that information available by tomorrow. But certainly come over and join us for that, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. But other than that, of course, Booster, DeWolf, and myself are found right here on Fanspeak, and you can contact us. All those links down below, and go on Fanspeak itself. But Denali, why don't you go ahead and take us out, man?
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Hope you had fun. Hope this was informative. Hope you had some laugh. And we hope to see you tomorrow for Comics News Today. But as always, your perception shapes your reality, so always make it a good one.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Later, guys.
Aloha.